Katie Casey was baseball mad, had the fever and had it bad. Just to root for the hometown crew every Sue, Katie Blue. On a Saturday, her young beau called to see if she'd like to go to see a show, but Miss Kate said no. I'll tell you what you can do. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Katie Casey saw all the games, knew the players by their first names, told the umpire he was wrong all along, good and strong. When the score was just 2-2, Katie Casey knew what to do. Just to cheer up the boys she knew, she made the gang sing this song. Take me out to the ball game, take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
All righty, folks, greetings, and welcome to the Orioles State of... Oh, crap, I screwed it up. Welcome to the... What is this called? BW's State of the Orioles Address. How you doing, everybody? I'm the Birdwatcher. This is the Birdwatcher channel. It's dedicated to live coverage of Orioles baseball, doing play-by-play and commentary for all games, regular season, postseason, spring training, exhibition, retro, all those games. How you doing? I hope you've been having a pleasant off-season and holiday season. New Year's Eve is just, what are we looking at, about 48 hours away before we start heading to our respective gatherings and ring in the new year. And folks, if you've been following the Orioles here in the off-season, I think you have to feel pretty optimistic about how things are looking for 2026, and I want to talk about it. It's been a while since I've just sat here with a really cheesy green screen and just talked about the Orioles, so that's what's going to happen for I don't know how long. We'll just see how it goes. There's a lot of really informative channels out there that give you content daily, updating you with the Orioles on a day-to-day basis. I don't really have it in me to do that. I feel like the people that do that do a better job of it, and I would just be sort of piggybacking on what they're doing. But what I can do is maybe once a month kind of take everything that I've been tracking and go over the whole damn thing. So the plan is first to recap what happened in 2025 because, folks, hopefully you're aware that the best way to avoid repeating history is to learn your history. What happened in 2025? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what we are doing right now here in the off season. And then we'll look ahead at 2026 and try to figure out where we realistically might be. Of course, this offseason we're in the middle of, it's not over yet, so we can't necessarily say, here's our roster and we can know exactly what to expect. We're still waiting for, hopefully, a frontline starting pitcher to join this rotation. It's been our number one desire to add to this team now for the past couple of seasons, and we're still hoping for that to happen. The biggest names on the market, other than Dylan Cease, who went super early, it's been like a month already since Cease got signed, Framber Valdez, Ranger Suarez, Tetsuya Imai, that last one of mine, he has to find a team here by Friday of this week, or his window to sign internationally will close. And folks, I've been reading about Amai here the past couple of days. I haven't really had him on the Orioles' radar simply because I just feel like, international Japanese pitcher that has a little bit of, if there's a market for him, do we want to get into that market? Are we experienced enough to, provide the right atmosphere for a pitcher like that matriculating over into Major League Baseball? We dipped our toes with this last season with Tomoyuki Sagano, and I'm glad that we did. It was sort of a mixed result. Sagano did get shelled from time to time, but he also kind of was a steady presence in an otherwise very volatile, injury-prone rotation. Hey, speaking of pitchers from 2025, Zach Eflin has returned on a one-year deal. He was signed yesterday. He's the second starting pitcher the Orioles have added to this team in the offseason, along with Shane Baz, a starter right-hander from Tampa that we traded for about 10 days ago now. I'm jumping all over the place. Why don't we begin with a nice recap of 2025? And I think the best way to do that is to run down my list of what I feel were the biggest mistakes this team made, because obviously 2025 grand picture was a major setback for this organization in terms of its ambitions to chase a World Series. We had been building toward it, and actually it's been 2 straight seasons of regression. If you go back to 2023, where we won 101 games, and down to 91 games in 2024, all the way down to a losing season in last place here in 2025. So what made a slight decline from 100 games to 90 go all the way down to last place? Well, let me bring up this little notepad I got over here. And folks, by the way, hello, Charm City chat. Is there anybody here? 7. Okay. Well, 7 it is. If I'm having microphone issues, please let me know. I did a little bit of a test, but it wasn't very long of a test. But it sounded okay. I'm crossing my fingers that the issue I was having with the mic kind of worked itself out. But Daniel, Barry, and Phantom, and Edward are here. And I am on the air. That's good to see. Phantom says, I've been seeing folks saying Ranger is probably a better fit for the O's than Fromber. Well, that's been my target since day one. Phantom, I think you know that. Many people not hearing any pops. Fantastic. Thank you for that, Phantom. Yeah, I have been very, I haven't budged since the regular season ended and we were looking ahead at free agency and the starting pitching that was available to me. Ranger Suarez jumped out as the best fit for us. I just felt like if we were trying to go after a Framber Valdez or a Dylan Cease, we were going to overpay because they were the top 2 names on that list. Ranger kind of sneakily third. I think he's built up a little bit more hype as a guy you might want to go get for your rotation. I guess maybe more due to a lack of, there's not a big market for starting, like frontline starters out there. There's just a handful. And there's more than a handful of teams that could use one. So you would think. But, I'm jumping all over the place, folks. I need a producer. All right. So the biggest mistakes of 2025, and if you're in the chat right now, or if you're watching this later, feel free to leave a comment and let me know if you want to add to this list, or if you disagree with some of my decisions for what went wrong here. And just it's an interactive thing, folks. I want to hear your feedback as well, because I didn't spend all day racking my brain about I basically come up with the first 5 things that came in my mind and ranked those 5 things in order of importance. And here they are. We'll start with the dishonorable mention, which for me was locking Jackson Holliday in as the leadoff hitter of the future. You guys remember when this happened? When Holliday was moved to the leadoff spot? When was it? Right around when Mansolino took over for Brandon Hyde, so about a third of the way into the season or so. Holliday was put into the leadoff spot one day, and then within 4 games, I remember Mansolino putting out a quote saying, "I don't think I've ever seen a better leadoff hitter or somebody who was better fit to do this." And I remember reading that going, really? Because my boy Jackson's up there, first pitch swinging a lot. And that's not what I like to see out of a leadoff hitter, making first pitch outs. And also, if a leadoff man's going to get on base for you, it would be nice if that person didn't get picked off on that base over and over and over again. I just don't know why. Well, I think I have my theories as to why, but it didn't make sense as to why the Orioles just sort of anointed Jackson Holliday as the leadoff man. It's not to say that he can't eventually fit that role. In fact, it would be great if he could, because I feel like with the team we have right now, we want an extra left-handed bat in the top half of the order. Right now, if we were to list this batting lineup in terms of sort of production, it's kind of right-handed heavy at the top now, other than Gunnar, and left-handed heavy at the bottom. Want to be able to get this lineup nice and balanced, alternating between left-handed and right-handed pitching. It makes it difficult for the opposing team in the later innings when they go to their bullpen to play matchups. If you've got 3 straight righties or 3 straight lefties in your lineup, it's very easy for the other team to go and get a pitcher to match up with that and get those 3 guys. You feel me? So, yeah, I'm looking for one of our left-handed bats to make a step up. Obviously, Colton Cowser had a huge regression last season. I don't know if he'll ever be a guy that hits in the top half of the order or not. Dylan Beavers showed some promise as a left-handed bat with some decent plate discipline. He felt like a guy that knew how to draw a walk, and you'd like to see that at the top of the order. But Beavers, is still pretty unproven. It's going to be interesting to follow what the Orioles are going to do in spring training when they put out their lineups that have our regulars, or our perceived regulars in there, and where they're going to slot Holliday if they plan on rolling with him as the leadoff man for 2026. I would like for them to at least consider an alternative, but that's just a dishonorable mention. It's just, and is there a, well, there's something. Sorry, I'm processing this in my head. Part of the takeaway of the mistake, I think, again, was sort of the public announcement of anointing him as this leadoff hitter. And one of my other biggest mistakes of 2025 for this team was another public announcement that was made by Mike Elias concerning our coaching staff. But we haven't gotten there yet. Number 5 on my list is the failing to respond to the poor start we had fast enough. And yeah, this is where I snuck in that note. That was around when we were flailing and they finally fired Brandon Hyde. Shortly thereafter, Mike Elias put out a quote, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he pretty much just said, nobody on this coaching staff currently, now that Hyde is gone, is going to be replaced this season. Everybody's staying, nobody's going. And it just, I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why you would lock yourself into that. If coaching is an issue, why? Yeah, But along with that, we went to Charlie Morton over and over again, and he just kept getting shelled. And we went to Kyle Gibson for, what was it, like 5 starts? Yeah, well, we'll get to part of that too. But it's mind-boggling in hindsight how Kyle Gibson was given a chance like for 5 awful starts before Trevor Rogers was given his first chance to start. It was basically once the Kyle Gibson experiment failed, if memory serves, that's when Rogers got called up and got the shot. And, of course, we all remember the season Taylor Rogers had. It was incredible. But, yeah, just the overall failing to respond fast enough to a team that clearly was having problems all over the place. If we had done more drastic things earlier, I feel like we might have had a chance to compete, but we dug such a big hole so early, it was just impossible. Even though Mancelino came out with a 500 record once he took over, it didn't matter at that point. Too far behind. Number 4 on my list, the strength and conditioning going on with this team. What the hell is going on, right? This 2025 Orioles team saw a record number of injuries, a record number of time missed due to injuries. We went through like 8 different catchers. Our rotation was constantly in flux. I mean, Sagano and Kramer, basically the only 2 guys to be there from start to finish. And then, yeah, just so many players. I mean, obviously Tyler Neal carries an injury-prone tag with him, but so many other guys with day-to-day issues. And then we would have, how many times a player that was given an early prognosis of, he looks okay. We looked at it the next day. The swelling's gone down. He'll be fine. And then like 2 more days go by. That player's still not in the lineup. And then poof. Next thing you know, that player's on the disabled list. It's like, what is going on here? Just the lack of transparency when it comes to some of our players' injury problems. I know you can't be fully transparent. When it comes to revealing information about your team, I guess the policy of, the less said, the better. Why let everybody know what's going on with you? But, the fans need to know a little bit of something here with some of these injury issues. But just in general, I hope I have yet to hear about any changes being made in the strength and conditioning department. But you would think, again, just, hopefully we can improve on that. My number 3, the free agent busts from last offseason. Mike Elias had a terrible offseason last year. I'm not just talking about the players he didn't sign. This is specifically the guys that he did. Charlie Morton was a mistake. A terrible, terrible mistake. It really did cost us. He was going out there every 5 days and automatically responsible for us losing every single time out. Gibson, again, he was brought in. Sagano, mixed bag results. But, I mean, for a team that was, back-to-back seasons, playoff-bound seasons, 90 wins or more seasons, you would expect the Orioles to go out and get a better quality pitcher, or at least in a case of a guy like Sagano, maybe somebody who's not as unproven and such a unknown commodity as he was. Tyler O'Neill. We gave him more money than anybody else. 3-year deal. That was a bad decision. Gary Sanchez was an overpay and not worth what we paid for him. Yeah, just busts across the board. Ramon Laureano was an exception. Laureano was nice. Of course, we then trade him away. But it just goes to show that Elias was not on the ball because he looked at Tyler O'Neill as the everyday outfielder that could be highly productive in the middle of the order. And he looked at Laureano as sort of an additional bat, maybe a platoon guy to face lefties. And that's pretty much all Laureano was for the first month and a half of the season until he finally started to get put in the lineup every day. And once he was our best hitter. But it just goes to show the evaluation of talent or perceived talent by Elias just between those two players. I mean, we could have just skipped signing Tyler O'Neill altogether. Made Laureano that guy. It wouldn't have been as sexy. But, yeah. Anyway, the number 2 biggest mistake of 2025 is failing to sign a legit ace after Corbin Burnes left for free agency. This is something we've talked about since, spring training of last season. As we knew by spring training, all the frontline starters were gone. And unless we pulled off some miracle trade, the team we had, we knew going in. And, yeah, it was Charlie Morton and Tomoyuki Sagano. And I don't think anybody out there was looking or feeling optimistic about our pitching. I think in the middle of our season, this would have been our number one mistake. Why didn't we go get an ace to anchor this staff? Why? But I have it as a second biggest mistake. My biggest mistake for this team was assembling an inexperienced coaching staff. Okay? Cody Ashley as the hitting coach, especially damaging. Yeah, it was just, you look at this team and you look at, especially offensively, the numbers across the board for just about every player regressed. And, if a star player, a handful of players, if a guy like Adley's sort of been regressing since before this season, right? Like it goes back to last half of 2024. So we knew something was going wrong with Adley there. But otherwise, our offense, maybe a little bit home run dependent, whatever, but it was one of the better offenses in the league. And we bring in Cody Ashley to be the hitting coach. What happened? I think our RBI leader is somewhere in the 60s. Our home run leader had like 16 or 17 home runs. It was a nightmare. We were one of the bottom ranked teams in a lot of offensive categories. And the players do have to take some of the, they got to take some of that responsibility. But to me, when the players haven't really changed, but the coaching staff has, and suddenly there's a huge regression across the board, to me, that just points to the coaching staff. And we know that it wasn't even just Ashy. There were 4 or 5 guys brought in that this was like their first major league coaching gig. And you got to have more experience in there, I think, is the lesson learned from that. And I feel like a lot of I feel like we still could have contended. This is why it's my number 1 mistake, because I feel like if we had kept in the coaching staff that we had already had, or at least done a better job of finding the replacements, this team still could have, hung around 500, maybe still not have made the playoffs, but I just don't see how we would have started, 20-40 or whatever it was, had we had a better coaching staff than this. What do you guys think? I look younger. Did I get Botox? Oh, by the way, folks, once again with the mentioning, let me just go ahead and show you how this works. Orioles. Yeah, here it is. This is the official mention for me, okay? Orioles Birdwatcher, all one word with O, B, and W capitalized. All right? Now, if you start to hit the mention, capital and an O, is he back? Is he back? Where is he? Where is he? Where's dude? What's his name tonight? Why haven't you streamed? You should try. Just goodbye, dude. You're not a part of this. Okay? Phantom, you have the right to just remove him from the channel. Okay? All right. So, let me ask you guys, what have I missed here in terms of what went wrong? Because again, if we're gonna learn from our mistakes, we need to figure out what those mistakes were, right? And the good news is that a lot of these things that I've mentioned seem to be getting course corrected as much as they can be during the off season, right? Uh, we've we have replaced some of these coaches. We haven't gotten that ace. We haven't gotten that front line started yet, but it looks like we're trying. And we've got two other pitchers in. According to Rock Kabatko, Oriole beat writer, he put out a mock lineup of the 2026 Orioles, and he had Jackson Holliday batting ninth. So that's as far from leadoff as you can get, unless you look at it from the other way around. Like a deuce is close to an ace, I guess. But so is a king? I don't know. Anyway, I do not think... see, Michael's talking to me without the app mention. I do not think 2026 can be worse as far as bad luck, injuries, etc. You would hope not, right? All right, well, let's talk about some of the positives, all right? Because there were some positives from 2025. They're not going to be as impactful as the negatives, or else we probably would have made the playoffs. But honorable mention for my 2025 positives, things we can look at from a bad last place season and take away feeling pretty good about. Okay, the honorable mention for me is Yamamoto's no-hitter turned into a walk-off win against the Dodgers. That was a September game, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe mid-September. Maybe it was late August. I don't know. Somewhere in there. You guys remember this game. It was unbelievable. It was, of course, it was Cal Ripken's, so September, what is that? What day is that? 6th? Whatever. Great game. In a bad season, it made a lot of Oriole fans like me euphoric, if only for one night. Number 5, Dylan Beavers showing some promise, good plate vision and patience at the plate. And coupled with that, Kobe Mayo finally starting to pick it up in September and had a pretty decent month hitting in September. I wonder if I can quickly find Kobe Mayo's September stats. Because he did pretty good in September. My number 4, while I'm looking for that. Well, here we go. His last 30 games. That's close enough. Well, how about last 15 games? Even better. Last 15 games for Kobe Mayo. That's 42 at-bats. He went 16 for 42. That's a .381 batting average. A .490 on-base percentage. A .714 slugging percentage. That's a 1,200 OPS. That is crazy. He also drew 7 walks to his 12 strikeouts. In his last 30 games, so larger sample size, the average is down to 250, but if Mayo can hit 250 and hit bombs, you'll take it. He scored 12 runs, drove in 9, drew 10 walks, struck out 32 times, stole a couple of bases. The slugging at .469, not too shabby. On-base percentage .333, not too shabby. That's an OPS right on 800. We can't expect a 1,200 OPS, but an 800 OPS, that's what you're looking for. Any player that gives you an 800 OPS is a good offensive player. And we're expecting Mayo to be a guy like that. And he showed that he can be a guy like that down the stretch. So for me, that was a positive. And hopefully, if we have Mayo still on this team, we figure out a way to get him involved and he can continue to mature. My number 4 is Bradish and Wells returning after long layoffs and both looking really, really good. I don't know off the top of my head how many starts they both made. I can't remember, like 4, maybe 5. But they looked good in their starts. And it looks like Tyler Wells will be in the bullpen. for 2026 unless injuries sort of push him back into the rotation. But I think that's a good thing for Wells. His versatility is a positive, and right now our bullpen needs just as much help as the rotation, I feel. So, yeah, let's just add another starter. Let's get Wells in that pen. But, yeah, Bradish and Wells are now, kind of had their warm-up sort of mini-season after coming back from long-term injuries, and now looking ahead to 2026. I don't think Bradish is going to make 30 starts, and again, I don't think Wells is going to make the rotation to begin the season, but they can both really, really help the staff if they can continue to pitch like they looked when they returned. Do you think we'll get another starter after signing Eflin? I do, Mr. Hyde, and it really is the biggest question. I'll elaborate more on that here in just a moment. My number 3 biggest positive from 2025 was that the Orioles gave Sammy Basallo a contract extension. And my only note that I put with that is keep it up. Keep it up. According to Mike Elias, he has, made the effort with these other players, your Westbergs, your Holidays, Gunnar, I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. Adley, you'd feel like by now, but I mean, he's got one additional year after this before he becomes a free agent. But we did lock up Basallo. I do believe in this kid. I don't know if he's ever going to turn into a catcher that defensively is going to be a guy that you want to be your primary catcher. But it looks like coming up this season, he's going to be the number 2 catcher, maybe make 40 starts, and then spend most of the time DHing against right-handed pitching. And with those 2 roles on the team, it should get him somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 at-bats for a 21-year-old in his first season starting from opening day. I think that's a nice number to target for him. And I really hope that Basallo develops into the slugger that we all think he can be, like, as soon as possible. Because, again, the more lefty bats that we can get finding their potential, it's going to make the balance of the lineup so much better. Basallo, for me, I'm just thinking to myself, if we can have a left-handed bat behind Alonso to protect him in this lineup, that would really, really help. And right now, it doesn't seem like Gunnar makes sense to anybody to hit behind Alonso. Everybody has Alonso hitting behind Gunnar to protect him. But then I'm saying, well, who's protecting Alonso? Sammy Basallo would be the perfect solution if he can develop this season. If he can get it going like this year. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed on that. Number 2, biggest positive, I think we can all agree, if this isn't your number 1, this is certainly your number 2, and that's the emergence of Taylor Rogers. I mean, this was a big surprise, folks. There is nobody that expected Rogers to do what he did, and I don't think any of us expect him to repeat it. What we are hoping for is that for a guy that was as good as he was last year in his 18-19 starts, that even if he's 75% of that guy in 2026, that is still a very, very good pitcher. And we need it. We needed somebody to level up within our organization rather than just continue to wait for this signing that seemingly never happens. Rogers developed nicely. A lot of regression on the team. Rogers, a huge exception. And my number 1 biggest positive, it really wasn't a thing that happened during the season, so it's a bit of a cheat, but my biggest positive is the clear response to a down year that this front office is showing during this offseason. That we're treating this offseason way better than we did last offseason. I feel like Elias made the mistake last season of going, you know what, our team is already good. All these guys are drafted are now hitting their prime. We just need a couple of complementary pieces, maybe some platoon type guys for matchups and whatever, and we are good to go. No, that is not the case. First of all, win back-to-back World Series, and then you can talk about complementary pieces, okay? The Dodgers are a team that goes out and gets complementary pieces. We need to build our first pennant winner in 43 years, okay? So no, that wasn't the right approach to the offseason. And I think, Elias is never going to come out and say we made huge mistakes in 2025 or going into 2025. I made a bunch of bad moves. He's not going to ever say that. But if we're not going to get an apology for a terrible job, and a lot of us wanted him gone after that, he stuck around. He's apparently been promoted. And look, I think he's been doing a good job so far in this offseason. I can't complain. I cannot complain. Some folks might have an issue with the amount of trade capital we gave up for the Shane Baz addition. I think if you're going to get a guy still in his mid-20s with major league starting experience, better than a strikeout per inning guy, coming through the Tampa system as a a first-round pick, that's a, you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that, 3 years of team control, by the way. I'm back. You can never defeat me. Ha, ha, ha. Okay. That's great, dude. You're just really pathetic, okay? That's all. That's all there is to it. Right. So, I believe somebody had mentioned... Yeah, so it's... Yeah. Wow. Okay. That was 2025. So what have we been doing in this off season, you ask? I'm so happy you asked, because we might need all to be reminded. We've done a lot of stuff, and we did not spend a lot of time waiting to do a whole lot of stuff. In fact, not even 48 hours after our players who had, ended their contracts and re-entered free agency. That was on the 2nd of November. Gary Sanchez, Sagano, Eflin, all going back into free agency. 2 days later, and I believe this was pretty much the first move of any team in the offseason of any significance. The Orioles made a trade with the Chicago Cubs to reacquire Andrew Kittredge. And all they had to do to get him back was to give the Cubs some cash. I don't know why whenever you get a player for cash, they don't tell you how much that cash is, But we didn't have to give up any players to get Kittredge back, and we immediately got the bullpen stronger. A bullpen that was absolutely decimated. It was already, a bullpen that was having its struggles. Then the mountain went down again, and then the trade deadline came, and Sir Anthony and Soto were dealt away, and we were left with scraps, absolute scraps. But and we dealt Kittredge as well. But now we've got Kittredge back. We got him back. That happened back in the first week of November. We made some moves here and there for a few days, nothing of significance. And then we went out and signed outfielder Leody Taveras, switch hitter, veteran outfielder, has good speed, good defense, not much of a hitter, just kind of a contact hitter, not going to hit the ball far. But I think this was the Orioles looking ahead at 2026 and saying there's one area on the field that we know we need some depth at, it's center field, because right now Colton Cowser appears to be our opening day center fielder. There really is no other outfielder that is an everyday player that fits in center field. Taylor Ward does not. Beavers, I don't think could do it. Tyler O'Neill, I don't think should do it. So if it's going to be Cowser, I think the Orioles said, well, let's go out and get something to complement him or be a backup if he completely face plants. And we went out and got Leody Taveras. There's a chance. I think we paid him $5 million. There's a chance that he doesn't even last that long with the team, to be honest. If the Orioles do more wheeling and dealing, we'll see how it all looks at the end. But Leody Taveras could be a nice, bench piece and a guy that could spell Cowser in center field if Cowser's struggling. And, whether Cowser's struggling or you're going with Taveras, either way, if either of those guys is going to give you good defense in center field and the rest of the lineup is hitting, then you can hit either of these guys ninth in the order. It's not a big deal. It would be great to have all 9 of your hitters with that 800 OPS and all-star numbers, but, 8 out of 9 ain't bad. All right, so we went out and got Taveras, and it's like, wow, we got Kittredge back. We went out and got Taveras. This is interesting. We're only a week into November here. The World Series just ended like 10 days ago. And then, boom, 19th of November, we make a trade. We send Grayson Rodriguez to the Angels for Taylor Ward. And boy, did this move get people talking, right? Taylor Ward, one area that we knew we needed to address on offense, the number one need, I think, especially once we dealt Laureano away, was that we don't have a right-handed bat, a big bat to put in the middle of this order right now. And at the same time, we're kind of short on outfielders. So a right-handed outfielder bat would really make sense to add to this team. And the Orioles went out and did it quickly. Before the free agent market really got going, they went out and acquired this bat in a trade. And I'm glad that they did, because the market for right-handed outfielder bats this offseason was pretty poor. And the Orioles gave up Grayson. I don't want to go too much into that, because I think on the day we signed Ward, we were streaming and I talked about Grayson a lot, but I just think it's a mutually beneficial thing to part ways with Grayson. And, I do wish him well. I don't want to see him face plant, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about regret on this trade, at least for a year. I don't see Grayson doing anything in 2026. As long as Taylor Ward can stay healthy, not get into too long of a slump here or there. He does tend to be a streaky hitter, but he does provide that need. We got it. And this Taylor Ward trade, this was when I started to say to myself, wait a minute, the Orioles are operating a little bit differently than I'm used to here, because we're making a lot of moves here. Like, it's not even Thanksgiving yet. And we've got ourselves a 100 RBI power bat in the outfield. This is good. Right, December the 1st. After losing Felix Bautista for 2026, or at least most of 2026, I think we can all just go ahead and assume he's going to miss the whole season and look at it as a pleasant surprise if he got back in time down the final stretch. But we knew we needed a closer, and we went out and got one. Ryan Helsley, who had been the closer for the Cardinals for the past several seasons. Helsley is coming off not one of his better seasons in recent years, but overall, you look at his numbers, this guy led the league in saves just 2 seasons ago, I believe, with 49. And, yeah, pretty solid numbers from Helsley. He knows the role. He's not washed up like a Craig Kimbrell, but he's not a stud either, I guess. But, I mean, he's been an all-star, I believe. I think he's made at least one all-star team. But, yeah, 2 years, I believe, for Helsley. So year 1, you've got that closer situation covered. In year 2, let's say theoretically Bautista can come back and help this team. Well, it's okay to have them both, isn't it? We'll figure it out. All right. We brought in Drew Romo, but I think we've actually, we DFA'd Romo not that long after. That didn't last long. All right, I'm just squeezing through here. We brought back Albert Suarez on a minor league contract. That was a couple of weeks ago. And then, back on the 19th of December, the Shane Baz trade. We got a starter in, and we traded catcher Caden Bodine, outfielder Slater DeBron, right-handed pitcher Michael Forret, outfielder Austin O'Verne, and draft pick, the 2026 competitive balance round A pick, the 33rd pick in the draft coming up in July, all given to Tampa for Shane Baz. That is a pretty hefty fee. But again, I think you're getting a guy with a lot of upside here, and a guy that's sort of already gone through, hopefully, his Tommy John for his career, had a full season of starts last year, wasn't back to the level of pitching you'd want to see. The ERA was, a little high, but for a lot of pitchers, first year back after Tommy John, there's a bit of a, what do you call it? You need some time to get back to where you were. And hopefully if the timing is right, this second full season back for Baz with us could be very, very productive. So once we got Baz, oh wait, did I already skip over? Wait a minute, where's the big move? Oh, I failed to mention this tiny addition back on the 11th of December. A fellow by the name of Pete Alonso was signed as a free agent by the Baltimore Orioles. That was the moment I think we all went, holy cow, we're finally doing it. We are finally doing it. We are not messing around. Pete Alonso. This guy is one of the most prolific home run hitters in baseball, and that was while playing at one of the more pitcher-friendly parks in baseball. He's coming here, and we're expecting big things from him. And man, oh man, I've heard a lot of good things about Alonso as a person, as a clubhouse guy. We need more than just the stats on the piece of paper, folks. We need a leader, and I think that Alonso understands the assignment here, that we're bringing him in more than just for the stats on the piece of paper. It's about the culture of the team, the chemistry of the team, the leadership or lack thereof that was going on in 2025. I think Alonso is going to help this team in more ways than one. And, just cross our fingers he stays healthy. Cross our fingers he's not... I mean, he's done too much already to be Chris Davis 2.0 or whatever. I don't think any of us are worried about that kind of a fall off a cliff situation. But you just want to see this guy hit 40 homers a year for these next 5 years, put himself within arm's reach of 500 home runs, and then maybe we can bring him back for another year and be on this team for that 500th home run. Just keep hitting home runs for us, Pete. By the way, some new soundboard drops.
A polar bear stirs.
That one's for Pete.
A polar bear stirs.
And then Taylor Ward, pretty simple right now.
Taylor?
And when Helsley's coming out to close, you got not Hell's Bells, folks. Not Hell's Bells.
And then you'll burn in hell.
All right. What's this? I don't expect Helsley to be with the team next year when Bautista's back. He's got an opt-out, and he was super cheap for what he could be for us. I think he's going to go next offseason for big money. That's possible. If he has a great season for us, then no matter what the status is with Bautista, If he's got the chance to test the market again and get paid more, he will do that for sure. But, I'm not leaving out the possibility of him being here for a second year because for what it's worth, Pigtown Sports has the feeling that he doesn't think Bautista is going to ever pitch in an Oriole uniform again. He doesn't. This is the second significant out for a year plus injury for Bautista in like a 3-year stretch. I don't think it would be wise to expect him back at any given time. I would plan around him and just welcome him back as a pleasant surprise if he is ready to return. And then you got an additional high leverage arm. It's hopefully. All right. How many bye-bye birdies in 2026? I'm hoping for a solid 200. This team, I think, with Alonso and Ward added to the lineup, I know that the home run numbers are going to go up for Gunnar. If Westberg stays healthy, I think he can give you 25. I don't know what's going on with Colton Cowser. Obviously, we know he can hit the ball 450 feet. When he squares a ball up, he can hit it as far as anybody, but good grief. He has got to find some more consistency at the plate, just up there flailing so much. 220 says Phantom. Yeah, as long as we got 200, anything more than that for me is gravy. I don't want to get this reputation of being a home run dependent team, now do I? No player had 70 RBI. I know. It's incredible. All right, so these are the acquisitions that we've made so far. It leaves one glaring, and of course, Zach Eflin, who we just added yesterday. So just as a quick recap, we brought back Andrew Kittredge. We brought in Leody Taveras. We traded for Taylor Ward. We traded for Shane Baz. We brought in a closer, Ryan Helsley. We signed Pete Alonso, one of the biggest signings, maybe the biggest signing of any team this offseason. I guess Dylan Cease is right about there, too. What is this? We signed Zach Eflin. These are major additions. And again, who walked? Basically, Jorge Mateo's off the team now. Big deal. Gary Sanchez is off the team now. Big deal. Sagano and Morton are gone. Big deal. I think you could agree just about everybody that has been replaced, whether it's Basayo naturally for a Gary Sanchez or, if you want to look at Taylor Ward sort of as a replacement for Laureano when he was traded, we definitely not only, restocked, I think we upgraded. I think we're upgraded from the team that started out in 2025. Yeah. And that's still without adding this frontline starter. God, can we just do this? So one thing on Tatsuya Imai, folks, if you guys have been following this pitcher from Japan who has been testing the market over here this offseason, he's got like a 1-month window to sign with a team, and that window is closing like this Friday. And I couldn't believe my eyes over the past couple of days looking more and more into Imai and the fact that no team has officially come to him with an offer. No team. There is literally no market for this guy. Do the Orioles want to consider that? Perhaps. I think not. I think not. In fact, I think it would be a mistake. You ever get suckered into buying something just because the price went down on it, but you kind of knew that it was a product that you already had questions about anyway, but you're like, oh, wow, I'm really getting a discount here. I'll go ahead and buy. And then you pay for it, and then you realize, well, I just threw that money away anyway. This isn't what I was hoping to get. We need to get a starter in here, folks, right? Like a frontline starter. You're looking at the guys we have right now: Kyle Bradish, Taylor Rogers, Dean Kramer, Shane Baz, Zach Eflin. None of these guys to me scream 180 innings, 185, 190. These we need another arm, if only to get through a season without having to turn to a Brandon Young to make starts for us out of AAA. We still need one more arm in here, and I just feel like with the amount of investment this team has made in all other areas of the field, and knowing that frontline starter is the most coveted prize for Oriole fans out there, we won an ace. I mean, even if he can't be like a ace, just whatever is the best version of an ace that's available, which right now is either through trade a guy like Freddie Peralta, or you're looking at Ranger Suarez, Framber Valdez, and to a lesser extent, I think, Amai, just because of the unknown transfer of talent over to this league, if that's going to work out for him. Let me get back over here for a sec. How are we doing on time? I've already been on for an hour. All right, so I'll try to wrap this up here pretty soon. Even though I feel like I haven't really gotten started talking about the team. I'm sort of peeking around at some other places here for a minute. Give me a sec. Give me a sec to do some research here. Okay. Right. Eflin said he's dealt with the back problem for 10 years, and now he feels the best he's ever felt. Yeah, Eflin had a bit of a interview from what appears to be a nice-looking front porch of a cabin somewhere in the woods somewhere. But I tell you what, these players, they know where to spend their off seasons. But, Eflin says he wants to prove he's got more to offer than he has so far with the Orioles, and that all sounds good. Wow, a super chat. That was unexpected. Hey, Scotty boy. Hey, BW, nice to see you. At least your team has improved. My Yankees have done 0. Well, Scotty, first of all, major props for being a Yankee fan and sending out a super chat my way. It's probably the first one I've gotten in 2 months, and probably the last one I'll get this year. So thank you so much, Scotty boy. And yeah, can we just talk about how right now, at this very moment, let me see if I type this in. Yeah. Well, their stream ended 24 minutes ago, but tonight, NYY Underground, which is a YouTube channel that covers the Yankees with play-by-play, much like I do for the Orioles. It's a much bigger channel than mine. I'm not trying to compare us like we're, on the same level here. He's been around longer, and he's got a big team with a big audience. But he just streamed live a stream that was titled, "What the Hell is Going On with the Yankees?" And yes, the Yankees have been extremely quiet this offseason. And the more time that passes, we know this feeling, folks. We went through this feeling last season, waiting for that frontline starter that we knew we needed. It was this time last year where we're this deep into the offseason, wondering, what are we doing? Who are we going to get? I think right about now is when Burns picked to go out to Arizona. Obviously, I don't know if we were ever going to be able to convince him to play for us. He wanted to play near his home. But if we somehow did, like, extremely overpay to keep him, well, it's a good thing we didn't, because he's out. How many starts did he make in 2025? Half a dozen? Out for the rest of the year, out for all of 2026. Terrible way for a contract like that to get started. And this is why I just, as a general rule of thumb, I am not on board with long-term deals to pitchers. You're just asking to set yourself up for financial, handicap yourself financially. I mean, it depends on what kind of organization you are. If you can burn money, then who cares, right? Feels like the Orioles are a richer team than they were under the Angeleses, based on how this offseason is going so far. But that doesn't mean that we're in a position to, just splash money like the Mets do or teams like this and just absorb mistakes that cost tens of millions of dollars. I mean, you really, when you go after a big player, you got to hit it, or else you're gonna hamper your ability to, if you're stuck with a bad contract. I mean, we got this Tyler O'Neill contract. It's bad enough, I mean, bigger teams than us, they would just look at it as like whatever, but just that alone is already sitting as a sort of a dark cloud over this payroll right now. Did I hear Jazz got married? I also heard that the Yankees fans are getting more and more tired of Jazz and his antics. Oh, Jazz. What are we going to do with you? Yeah, he's my buddy. I'm not a fan of Jazz. As a Jays fan, that's one thing that we have done recently with starters. They have stayed relatively healthy. Hey, Bam, thanks for that comment, because that reminds me of something I want to talk about. I don't know for how long, but I mentioned this on my Discord, and I honestly feel that this is where baseball should be going. Like, I feel like a 6-man rotation, especially, like look, if you've got Tarek Skubal on your team, if you got Yoshinobu Yamamoto on your team, if you got a Garrett Crochet on your team, you're going to want those guys to pitch every 5 days because they can. Paul Skeens, whatever. The elite pitchers like that, you don't want them to miss a few starts a season because you put in a 6-man rotation. You want that guy out there every 5 days, and you want to get the maximum amount of starts out of those guys because those guys are like automatic wins for you. But if you don't have one of those guys, and with the way that finding a pitcher that can go 200 innings is basically non-existent anymore, it's looking more like 160, 170 innings. I'm looking at the pitchers we have right now, and a lot of them, the Trevor Rogerses, the Shane Bazes, these guys aren't going over 160 innings. And then, again, you talk about all the injuries that pitchers are getting more and more in the modern game. I just feel like it would make sense to go to a 6-man rotation at this point. With the additional strategy or philosophy of sort of looking at the bullpen in a different way, because the one drawback to a 6-man rotation, obviously, is you have one less arm in the bullpen, and now your bullpen has to work harder, and that could lead to problems for your bullpen, correct? That's true. But if pitchers out there, if relievers out there, like hybrid relievers, like a Tyler Wells is a good example. I feel like a guy like a Tyler Wells can be a bullpen guy that doesn't get you 3 outs, can get you 6 outs. You hear me? You feel what I'm saying? Like guys who in your bullpen, can give you more than like 55 or 60 innings in a season, can actually give you 80, 85 innings in a season because they can get you 5 or 6 outs instead of 3 or 4. You feel me? So if you start to go after guys like that, if you fill up your bullpen with the Tyler Welleses of the world, and then go to a 6-man rotation, I feel like that's how you can work around that lack of an additional arm in the pen. You just have a lot of arms in the pen that have that extra degree of stamina to go a little bit longer. And I feel like that's where all teams should be kind of going with the way pitching has been evolving or devolving over the years. I think that's the way to go. And I'd like to see us do that. And if we don't, for some reason, land a Ranger Suarez, a Framber Valdez, or a Freddie Peralta, if we don't go out and get that top of the rotation arm, then I feel even more strongly about attempting a 6-man rotation. Because who is the ace here? It really could be anybody. Kyle Bradish could be the ace of the team. Trevor Rogers, if he somehow continues to do what he did, those are ace numbers right there. Shane Baz, the potential is there for him. We've got dudes. With the day off, you don't need the 6-man all the time. That's true. Yeah, you don't always need to. Yeah, it's not a hard, fast. Yeah, there's ways to. It'll be a headache, but that's why you hire other people to sit in there and work out those mathematics. But yeah, what do you think, Phantom? Are you down with the 6-man idea? I just think that's where baseball should be heading at this point. I think it's a way to preserve a lot of these arms from getting, wrecked. And put more emphasis on these middle relievers. And maybe, these middle relievers can get a little more recognition and a little more, compensation and whenever they're free agents and whatever. I think that role of middle relief has become just more and more important over the years now that starters can't go as long as they used to. And are getting hurt so much. But, yeah. All right, what else is there to go over here? There was a rumor about Jazz going to the Phillies. I don't think so. But, it's a rumor. It's fun. Some do better on longer rest, and some don't. Well, here's the deal. A 6-man rotation, if you pitch every 6th game, if there isn't an off day, that's every 6 days, right? Well, if you have a 5-man rotation and you do have an off day, there's plenty of times in the season where you're actually pitching on every 6th day anyway. And I guess we could break down which of our pitchers perform historically bad in those situations where it's an extra day's rest. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. If I'm making this proclamation now that I'm down with the idea of a 6-man rotation, and like you say, some guys out there are not physically, fit for that sort of, they're just built to pitch every 5 days. Well, then we need to trade those guys away from the team or not re-sign those guys when their contracts are up. And going forward, only bring in those guys. I want those guys. Give me a guy that says, yes, I can pitch every 6 days or 5. Doesn't really matter. Take a look at my stats when I'm pitching in either situation. There's really no discrepancy here. I want those guys. I want those guys that can do that. I just think going forward, it's gonna help in more ways than one. It's gonna keep your rotate. And here's the thing, folks. You get to October, right? What's the number one thing you need when you get to October? You need your arms to be strong and fresh and not washed up and ready to hit the off season, right? God, I just think about the nightmare starting pitching that we saw against the Rangers in that playoff series a couple of years back. And it makes you wonder, gee, would it have been this bad if this game was played in July? I don't know. Is the staff just spent? I don't know. But if you go to a 6-man, again, you're cutting back everybody's workload. It should only help once you get to that 7th month, that October month, the all-important month, where you need these guys to pitch their best. I feel like there's a better chance to get their best if you scale back the workload during the regular season. I disagree. Starters have never pitched as few innings as they do now and are hurt more now than ever before. That's fair. But I don't know if one is a result of the other. Are you saying people are getting hurt more because they're pitching less? I don't know. I mean, yeah. It's true. I mean, I don't know. I just think theoretically, let me look at it. Let me look at it this way. All right. If you are a 5-man rotation and you're healthy, you're making 32 starts a season, maybe 33, right? And if you're averaging 6 innings per start, where is this at? So it'd be 192 innings if you were to pitch 6 innings, 32 starts. That's how tough it is to get to 192 innings. That's still short of 200. But that's what you want. You want your starter to be able to give you 6 innings, right? Now, if you had a 5-man rotation, 6. Sorry, I have to do some math here. That'd be 27 starts a season, which at 6 innings a start puts you at 162 innings. Okay? Now, if you look at the guys in our rotation right now, 162 innings is about what they are giving you, right? Let me pull up. All right, let's start with Mr. Boz here. I'm looking into his pitch totals, and he gave 166. There you go, 166. That was in 31 starts. So he did 31 starts, 106. God, that's like 5 innings a start. This is why middle relief is so important now. They're only giving you 5 innings anyway. God, I miss the days of pitchers just going the distance. Good grief. All right, so the most we've ever seen Boz throw is 166 innings in a major league season, okay? And then there's Bradish. He has... most he's ever done was the breakout year in 2023, 168 and 2/3. So still short of 170 innings. It's right in that 160 inning limit I'm talking about, and you can get to those numbers with a 6-man rotation. If they can give you 6 innings, right? I don't know. Who else is in our rotation at this point? Eflin. Let's take a look. Obviously, he was injured this past season. Previously, he's had one season where he's gone above 165 innings. He had 177 and 2/3 for Tampa in 2023. That's it. So again, not close to that 32 starts, 100 at 6 innings a start, 190 innings. It's just, if a starter goes 7 as 7, yeah. Going 7 innings at this stage of baseball, like, that is pretty much like a complete game. But I'm still holding out hope that a starter can average you 6. All right, what else sorry, I'm bouncing around. Just looking at our options here. Bradish, Who am I missing? Oh, Rogers. Taylor Rogers. Sorry, Trevor Rogers. Now, of course, I'd have to probably add in his. Wait, projections 2026? They have projections on Baseball Reference now? Interesting. What are they projecting him to? A 3.47 ERA next year. Interesting. Rogers has never pitched more than 133 innings in any given season. This is why I'm convinced we're not done adding a pitcher. We don't have, it's not just not having an ace, we don't have an innings eater here. Dean Kramer is our innings eater, if you can believe it. I'm pretty sure he's got more innings than any of these other guys. Yeah, there you go. 171 and 2/3 this season. 172 and 2/3 in 2023. He's the only guy in our rotation right now that has hit 170 innings or more at least twice in their career. That's where we're at. We don't have a workhorse. So if we don't have a workhorse, why? I just feel like a 6-man rotation makes more sense. It makes more sense to me. Anyway, maybe I'm spending too much time on that. What else is there to talk about, folks? Let me hit the Twitter feed here for a sec. Eflin says, I feel better than I ever have in my life, and I'm fully prepared to be ready for that first week of the season. We'll see. I'm not sure he'll be. Well, his first bullpen session is scheduled for January 6th. So there you go. A week from today, or tomorrow, Eflin is going to be working in a bullpen session. What else? How much do you think Imai will sign for? It's really hard to say because the fact that teams aren't really coming to the table with any offers for him, it makes me feel like nobody wants to commit to anything long-term with him. And I think that that's what he wants. And that's why it's going down to the final week without a whole lot of change. It's been a stalemate. I think if he's going to find a team to play for, it's going to be a short-term deal. I think it's like a 2-year deal. And because it's going to be a shorter deal, I think it'll be more average salary than it would have been for a longer deal. I don't know what to put on his price tag. 22 years, $48 million, something like that. We'll see. I'm hazarding a guess, but that does intrigue me about Imai is that if the market is sort of dictating that he takes a short-term deal, it makes the prospects of, rolling the dice on him a little more enticing for me. I do want to dip into that Japanese talent market. I do want to establish our organization as one that Japanese players who want to come over here and play look and say, "Oh, the Orioles, they've had a reputation. I'd like to go play there." I want to build that reputation. I'd like to build that reputation for talent from anywhere on the globe, Latin America, the Far East, or wherever. But the thing about Imai, again, is, can he give you enough to where, I think he'd be a nice addition to anybody's pitching staff, but is he going to be like a 1 or a 2 kind of a guy, which is what you want, right? Imai, I believe, is 26 years old. He's not 23. He's not that young. Give extra rest to Rogers and Bradish specifically. Yeah, Bradish is coming back. First full season back after the surgery. I don't want to see him attempt to make 30 starts. I really don't. Yeah, so what was the math again? How many starts for a six-man rotation? 27? 27 starts. Give me 27 starts instead of 32. And we'll take it from there. Honestly, I mean, don't the Dodgers kind of go with this? Maybe not with this. I don't know. They've got so many pitching injuries. I don't know. But like when they have enough health in their staff, surely they kind of, and like, yeah, they kind of bring Ohtani in and out of the rotation. I don't know. There's some flexibility there. I'd like to see us try it. Again, if we had Tarek Skubal on the team, I'm not bringing this up because I want him out there every fifth day, and that means more to me than the other guys' workload or whatever. I want him out there every fifth day. I got one of the best damn pitchers in baseball. I want to see him out there every fifth day, but we don't have one of those. Hey, by the way, on the MLB homepage, 6 teams, the top story, 6 teams whose fortunes are looking up for 2026. Here, let me show you this. Because I want you to see something. I want you to see something. Hey, there's Zach Eflin. Hey, how you doing? I forget how to do all this. It's been a while since I've played around in here. Where is it? What am I looking for? Oh, I'm on the wrong. Okay, there we go. In-game. MLB.com. See if I can get this story up. All right, give me 1 sec to get this thing looking nice and pretty. Okay. So yeah, this article is up right now on MLB.com. 6 teams whose futures are looking up for 2026. And I want you guys to notice. How this collection of players, how it's framed. Do you notice anything about the framing of this photo and these 6 teams that are looking to head in a positive direction? 28 to 29 starts after you factor in off days where the rotation is only 5 players. Fair enough. But I'll also say this. I don't think any of our guys are going to go all season without some kind of something. I mean, it's just, I don't know who and I don't know for how long, but one guy's going to miss a couple of starts, some nagging injury. Another guy's just going to miss a spot start. A guy will fill in. Maybe a AAA call-up. Cade Povich makes a start. There's going to be starts not made by one of the 5 guys that we're talking about right now. Or even the 6th guy that we are potentially talking about. But yeah, you notice how they put the polar bear like dead center in there? Like he is the centerpiece. He is the literal centerpiece of this collage you're looking at, right? It's clear what MLB is looking at. I mean, just your tunnel vision goes straight to the polar bear, doesn't it? Alonso, dead center. Like if you're making a movie poster, it's pretty clear to me that Pete Alonso is the star of the show, right? He's the star attraction of this particular episode. What do you call it? Volume of Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever the hell we're talking about. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the World Baseball Classic. When is this starting up? Because schedule? Let's see. March the 6th. Holy cow. So January the 6th is a week away. So we're 2 months plus 1 week away from the World Baseball Classic. March 5th, actually, it starts. And the Orioles don't have a preseason. Do they have a preseason? I know they don't have a preseason like broadcast schedule, but is there a preseason schedule for 2026? There is. We play the Yankees on February the 20th, I believe, at 1:05 p.m. Might be 2:05 or 12:05. I don't know. Are we still in daylight savings at that point? So, yeah, the first, hopefully we're playing the Yankees' first spring training game. They have to televise that somewhere. Maybe, even if it's not Masson, if it's Yes or if it's MLB.com, somebody's covering that game. So, mark that on your calendars, folks. Because, wait, let me go over here because I live in Thailand, don't you know? And sometimes when I look at these schedules, it's a day off because I'm so far ahead. I just want to make sure that is right. Friday, February 20th. So it is Friday the 20th. And what did it say? Yeah, I've got it listed as the 21st at 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so Friday the 20th of February, the Orioles will be playing the Yankees. First spring training matchup. Oh, my God. Let's get going. Folks, I'm going to have another State of the Channel address before we get into the spring training mode, probably sometime in early February. Going to do a State of the Channel address because it's a big, big year coming up for this channel and its ability to stick around long term. I really need to pick up the slack on the growth of this channel. And folks, I know I've said it to those watching here already many times. You guys are here all the time. So I know you guys have done everything you can to help out the channel. But if you ever get any good ideas, don't hesitate to share them. Doesn't mean I will always sign off on it, but I need ideas. I need to brainstorm. I'm sitting here many of these days during the off season just going, man, it's got to work out in 2026. It's got to work out in 2026. The team has to play better because, man, the team didn't play very well last year, and it really did hurt the growth of the channel. It kind of made the goal I'm trying to get to take an extra year, and if it doesn't happen within that year, I don't really know what else I'm going to be able to do to extend this. I'm doing the best I can. I can't really live any cheaper than I'm living. But I just want to say I'm so dedicated to doing this. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to call Oriole games. Can I just, can I just call Oriole games? We'll talk about that on the State of the Channel address. Fantasy baseball. I wonder if I could get back. You think Amai would only take $15 million a year? That ain't much. Again, if he's only going to do 2 years, I feel like the salary is going to have to be higher than that. And then, yeah, I mean, it also depends on if no other team's coming at him with a better offer than that. He might just be like, thanks, but no thanks. I'll go back to Japan. Try it again next year. You can always do that. The polar bear. What's that about a polar bear?
A polar bear stirs.
Hey, how's the microphone sounding? Okay? Did I actually once again figure out a way to solve a problem by neglecting to do anything about it and just hoping that it went away, and it eventually did? Great. Fantastic. That is comforting news. I think I had dropped the microphone once. Maybe I dropped it and it reverted back to normal. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock. That's 90 minutes of talking about the Orioles. I feel like I didn't really get deep into anything. I feel like I didn't really interact with you guys enough. But I don't know. I will say this. We right now, if this team did not add a frontline starter, I think this is a above 500 team. And the reason I'm saying that is because I have confidence, not just that the team is good enough to do this. Again, this goes back to my number one, where did we go wrong in 2025 list, which is I think that Albernaz and the coaching staff that he's assembling, and I think Mike Elias is, he's not going to admit that he's made mistakes, but I do think he has learned. I think he recognizes the mistakes that he has made and that he's learning and he's correcting on those mistakes. Again, I'm not going to be able to walk back what I've said about Elias around, I don't know, May of this past year, which is I want him gone. He is responsible for this disaster, and he needs to be removed. We need a new GM because he just shit the bed for this season, assembling this team like this. But the fact of the matter is the Orioles didn't let him go. He's going to be around, and he's making decisions, and I have to give him credit or give him critique based on what he does in any given point in time during this run. There's things Elias has done in the past where I'm like, wow, that was a great draft pick, Mike, or whatever. There's reasons for me to go, or wow, Mike, you just assembled a 101-win team. You're a great GM, right? And then, this past season, Mike, what the hell are you thinking? Gary Sanchez, backup catcher for $9 million? Why? Why are we putting our money that we never spend into something like this? There's so many question marks in the decision, and I was just like, these are too many bad decisions, and the results are too bad for you not to, get removed and be replaced. But he's still here. And thank goodness, it would appear to me that he's learned from some of his mistakes, and he's doing a better job at this offseason, way better job than last offseason. If Brandon Young and Cade Povich aren't starting, we'll be fine. Oh, I kind of hope Povich pops up for a start or two just to see what's going on under the hood there. I think Povich can still be a big league pitcher somewhere. I don't think he's done yet. It's not like he just got constantly, we saw when Povich was on what he could be, right? But I went on record a long time ago saying that I had a crush on him, so I guess my feelings are somewhat biased. Anyway, all right, it's been 90 minutes plus. Thanks for hanging out. Right, so I've got this gaming stream that I had been doing about a month. I was doing it, and then I took a break, and I could be picking it up here after the new year. We'll see. I wouldn't mind, honestly. The thing is, folks, I kind of enjoy just taking a step back from baseball. If I'm playing it every day as a video game during the off season, I feel like it's kind of making baseball feel more like work than it does, a passion and a hobby. Now, obviously, I want to make this work, this channel. I'm not just trying to, just half-ass this thing. But although if you saw my thumbnail for this event, you would say I half-assed it, and you'd be correct. Thumbnail for this stream was god-awful. I need some help promoting. I really do. Thanks, Phantom. The hat, where are you, buddy? Yes, the hat. There he is. Oh, look, there I am on the monitor, putting it on. The hat is getting more and more like misshapen with every new season. I don't know how much longer the hat. Yeah, there's some creases in here now. Oh my, I just want to get back to calling some baseball games. I don't feel right. I've had some time off. I needed it. And the stuff I'm doing with the gaming content, having fun doing that, but I got one thing I want to do. I want to call Oriole games. I want to call them. I just want to be the voice. I want to be the guy telling you what's going on. That's all I want to do. And, yeah, that's the plan. Do more of that 2026. Guys, I'll probably post something on the community board for New Year's Eve. Remember, I'm 12 hours ahead, so if you see me saying Happy New Year and it's like the middle of New Year's Day or New Year's Eve day, and you're going like, oh, this is way too early, it's because I'm way ahead, okay? But I'll probably put out a post wishing everybody a Happy New Year. And I hope you'll join me on the other side in 2026. Spread the word. Help out the channel any way you can. Even if you don't want to hang out in some of these gaming streams, if you just pop in and leave a like and pop out, that helps. Just trying to stay afloat, folks. It's still an unpredictable and anxious time for the channel. We need a better season coming up. Fingers are crossed. Okay, have a good night, everybody. See you soon. Spread the word. Until then, this has been the Bird Watcher. And I will chirp at you later. Have a good one, everybody.